Hello, and thank you for tuning into Sons and Daughters podcast. I'm your host, Arden, and I am joined today by my two brothers. First brother, Austin.
Hey, guys.
And my other brother, Alec.
What's up, Sons and Daughters?
And I'm also joined again by my beautiful sister, Juliana.
Hey-o.
So
it's a Julie double dip.
That's a Julie double dip. That sounds great. Love
Sounds
it.
kind of weird.
Hey, well, so today we are talking about starting your year well. You know, that's the topic that's going to be going on right now. A lot of people talking about, well, what's the New Year's resolutions and everything. So we wanted to talk about that. So I wanted to start off right from the bat. I want to ask you guys, how do you like to start your year off?
We're talking about goals, right? So I like to set some goals for the new year.
Wow.
Yes, very ambitious.
Trademarked.
That's it.
I just like to start off as like a champion.
Oh, I like to kiss my
Yeah.
wife at midnight too.
Thanks
that's
for
how
rubbing
I'm
that
starting.
in.
Yeah,
Is that how you
sorry.
started
Wow.
it this last year?
No, because I didn't have a wife, but I do have a wife now. Well, we did actually. Well, anyway, we're not
Oh
going to
my
go.
gosh.
Oh,
We were
okay. No,
dating,
well, the last
and
year,
our
yeah,
first
they were-
kiss was actually at New Year's last year.
Yes.
So
Aw.
there you go.
So
It's a good thing I'm not lactose intolerant because that's cheesy.
Wow.
So,
I'm
Austin,
just giving. I'm laying down the facts.
So you're telling me your romantic first kiss was at a time when everybody else on the planet was kissing?
There's actually, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of pressure to like, is this happening tonight? And it's a story for another time. We're gonna leave it off.
Oh yeah,
But,
right.
yeah.
So, but you were talking about something else, setting goals, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
goals. Hashtag goals. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions. And so,
Okay.
how would you want to start us off, Arden?
Well, I want to ask you guys, have any of you guys ever failed meeting one of your goals or your New Year's resolution? Let's get it personal.
So many.
Yeah.
So,
So
many.
many.
Do you-
One of mine from last year, this is actually really embarrassing, was a six-pack.
You can't see because it's hidden under the table.
Did you get
But-
pregnant again?
No, but that's a good segue. I have had 4 children, and
So that's why you wanted it.
a six-pack on this body that I'm extremely thankful for is just not going to look like it looks on the Instagram models.
Okay.
And so I actually that goal led me to a great like appreciation for how strong I am and what I do have and but
A
it
4-pack?
was written out. Yeah.
I wish Addison was here so
Solid.
we could say more things. I don't feel it's appropriate for me to comment on this though at this time.
Okay, wait. So let's move on.
Wait,
So-
I have an embarrassing
You do,
one.
yeah?
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
And it's along those lines, not at all. I one year, this was like 3 years ago, one of my New Year's resolutions, because I put times on them, was to have a girlfriend. This was back when I was single, to have a girlfriend by the end of that month. And it led me to do some really stupid things during that month. And needless to say, I did not make that goal. I embarrassed myself a few times, but I did not make that goal. So
Okay.
happily
Amazing.
married now, but
He's very much
gosh.
so. Okay, well, so what do you guys think about New Year's resolutions? Do you feel like they're very helpful? Do you think they're, things that people should be doing?
I would say 100%.
Yeah.
I know that we're going to talk more about this later, but I think that if you don't have something that you're really going towards, then you put yourself into a limbo, and you really set yourself up for failures / really just a horrible season in your life. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and
It's time.
I think it's important to write down and have that reset button every year. I think that's fantastic. But even what Julie mentioned, like when you write down a goal and you don't hit it, you have the chance to reassess. And like I think that's even valuable when you don't hit your goal, is to be able to look at, okay, why didn't I hit this goal? And oftentimes when we make our goals, we don't have that strong why. And we're probably getting a little bit into this now.
Julie can reassess hers that she didn't make this last year about the six-pack.
Before we talk about us not making goals, like, I mean, there's tons of stats on people that start New Year's resolutions and they don't even get it done. Like they're over their New Year's resolution by like February. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I think we have some of those stats.
Yeah, actually, I got the stats right here. So check this out. So according to Inc. magazine, the most popular New Year's resolutions of 2018. So get ready. I'm going to give you the top 10, and let's see how many of you are within this top 10. So number 1 is to lose weight or healthier eating. Number 2 is self-improvement. Okay. Number 3 is going to be better financial decisions. Number 4 is to quit smoking. Julie has been working hard on that one.
She's not a smoker.
I actually did quit smoking once.
She's
so-
the
long
only
time
person
ago.
here,
Yeah.
I think, that's ever
Had a
smoked
problem
a
smoking.
cigarette, and we don't endorse that.
So number 5 is
Although vaping is really cool.
Don't, Julie. Oh my gosh.
Okay. No.
so that's 4. Julie's was quit smoking. Number 5 is to do more exercising things. So
No,
like,
do more exciting things.
oh,
Exciting.
I read
But
that
exercise
wrong.
is
I've
also
actually heard it both
exercise
ways.
is great.
But really, you do more exercising things, and that's more exciting things. Like
That-
if you're snowboarding, that's exercising.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. So
Full circle.
what a cover up. Number 6 is to spend more time with family or close friends.
I feel like we don't get a lot of that
Yeah.
next year.
It was very hard to even get us here at this podcast table, man. No, it's not true. We spend lots of time as a family. Where was I? Number 6. Oh yeah, right. Number 7. So to work out more often is number 7. Number 8 is to learn something new on my own. So apparently, people, they want to learn something new on their own. They don't want someone
Growth
to.
is extremely important. It's
Yeah,
good.
that's pretty cool. Number 10, to find the love of my life. So Austin, look at you, man.
I tried that
You tried so hard.
and failed
No.
for that month.
You've now succeeded.
We're good now, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. That's right.
Okay. All right. So statistically speaking, only 9.2% of people actually achieve their goals.
Wow.
That's insane. Like every single person, majority of people start out their year by setting goals and only 9.2% achieve them. And so as us as sons and daughters, we want to be people of our word. We want to be people who achieve the things that we set out to do. And so how do we become people that are that 9.2? How do we raise that number?
That's good.
Didn't make sense.
This past year, actually, Addison and I were visiting some friends, and what we did to celebrate the new year was we had what we called a Holy Spirit hang. And, we didn't want it to be weird, which it was.
It already
always
sounds weird.
is. Yeah. But we just made that space to really allow God to speak into our year before we started speaking into our year, so that he could say, this is what I have for you. Like, I am a huge fan of a word for the year. I think it sets your the perception that you see things through, that you read things through, if it comes from God. If you're
Yes.
just pulling a word out
said.
of the air,
Don't force a word.
or you see it on someone else's Instagram or whatever, that's not going to work out well for you. But like, I personally got a word, and what I also really like is how the word, you think it will shape your year one way, and yet it looks totally different. Like, that's just the power of the Holy Spirit, to do what you cannot do on your own.
Yeah.
So I think the most important step for me personally is setting aside that time to really hear from God. What does he want to do through me in this year?
I completely agree. Like that's probably my number one thing, is because when you set a goal, you're going to have opposition, and you want to have that conviction of, I'm going to make this through because this is something that God's spoken to my life, and there's power when you hear from God. This is what I want for this year.
Yeah,
Well, and every yes is a no,
Yeah.
or several no's.
Yeah.
So you need to be sure it's the right yes.
Yeah, and you're putting foundation into your goals, into your habits, and for that year, you're like saying, okay, God spoke this to me, and so I'm not just doing this because I think it's a good idea or because other people are doing it. I'm doing this because I want to better my life. And I love what you said, is you're not just doing you're not just making a list of like, here's all of the goals I'm going to accomplish, and here's 30 things I'm going to do this year. No, you've got to be very specific on what you want to do. You don't want to do like 10 or 20. You want to kind of keep it you want to figure out, narrow it down into maybe about 5 to 7 goals. Or it could be you narrow it down just to one goal and saying like, this is what the overarching thing I want for this year. If I complete this goal, it's going to do all these things for me.
Because change is hard.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. For humans to make any kind of incremental positive change is an accomplishment. Actually, Albert Einstein said the greatest measure of intelligence is one's ability to change.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, hey, so to give you guys a practical step, and this is super, super easy, and it's amazing how much it helps. But if you are, this is a statistic, if you are just to write down your goals, you are how much?
50.
50% more likely. If you write down your goals, tell a friend, And then there was one other one.
If you write down your goals and put it in a place that you can see daily. So
And
basically remind yourself. Write it down and remind yourself.
Yeah, you're 50% more likely to complete that goal.
Can I just show you these are my
No,
goals?
well, no. Actually, I'm going to stop you right there, Austin, because I actually have a personal story that I would love to even say about this.
Go for it.
So last year, I was out in San Diego, and whenever I first got to San Diego, I just thought, hey, this is a great new time. It's almost like a New Year's resolution because basically I'm going to be starting off completely fresh somewhere. So it's almost like what we're talking about right now, New Year's resolution. So what I decided to do is actually write down 8 goals. I'm sorry, Arden, I didn't hear about your 5 to 7. I accidentally did 8.
Rebel.
I overachieved. I'm sorry. But anyways, what I decided to do is go right ahead and actually write down 8 different goals that I had that were actually kind of obscure goals. So I'll go right ahead and I'll actually tell you a few of them. So one of them, for example, was to be able to do a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. That one's a pretty obscure one. And then another one was to actually start video blogging. Another one was to start to bring together different innovators. Another one was actually to start to actually be able to, over the next 7 years, somehow get $2 million, give $2 million into the kingdom of God. So I had these 8 goals that I wrote down right at the beginning. Now, what was interesting is that there's a few more of these goals, but after I wrote them down as kind of like my 5-year goals. I was like, these are like my 5-year goals. And I know we're talking about 1 year right now, but then there's also some 1-year ones in there. Like one of them was to actually become a professional surfer. Well, not professional, I'm sorry, an excellent surfer and be able to actually surf a 10-foot wave, which I completed. I was able to surf 17 to 14-foot waves, 14 to 17-foot waves. Thank you. And so, but anyways, whenever I wrote them down, I was able to see, and I never realized this, that there were so many that were connected right up front. So whenever I wrote down all 8 of them, these 5-year goals, I saw that a lot of them were actually connected. And these 5-year goals that I thought would take 5 years for me to complete, I completed 5 of the 8 within 6 months.
Wow.
So check this out. There is so many different things that were connected. The innovators was actually connected, and I went ahead and started partnering with somebody, and we built up a business school, and that business school is now financing the kingdom and is starting to get those $2 million into the kingdom, something that I thought would be absolutely impossible. And it's just absolutely amazing. Like you said, Austin, the power of writing it down. It wasn't until I wrote that down and told somebody about these goals that then it really started aligning my life.
And that's amazing, the whole writing it down. Like, it's not just some oh, this sounds good in theory. It's in the Bible. I mean, Habakkuk talks about it. It says, write the vision down and make it plain and clear on tablets. And so I love that. And I mean, I like that. I love that all of those things are coming to pass. I mean, that's amazing. But I do think we got to also think about well, how do we practically for this year? You don't want to just be for this year, I'm going to become a professional golfer. I remember I tried that when I was a kid, and it was a little harder on me. But I remember I took.
He's not discounting what I just said, folks.
No, not at all.
Any means.
No, but I think no, because I think that's amazing, and I think that's awesome how Alec was saying for a 5-year and how God is already doing that. But how do we create? Because for people Alec, you're already a goal-oriented person. But how do we, for people that maybe they don't do goals, how do they go not from 0 to 100? How do they start out practically and planning out their year and writing out goals that are attainable for them?
I think once you set that time aside and get your 5 to 7 or 1 goal, you really start asking why. Why do I want that? And I've actually heard it said, go 5 whys deep. And just ask why
good.
5 different times.
That's so
and when
good.
you get to the base, to the core of what it is that you want out of that, I think it's making it habits.
Julie, that is so good. I've never heard that, but that's so, oh man, that's gold. Because that's something you have to have when you want to change. You have to have your why, because basically you're trying to change a mindset that you've had for a long time, and you have to have the conviction to make a shift.
Yeah.
And if you don't have your why, you're not going to make that change. Do you guys want to go over the idea of SMART goals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you share with them what that is?
Okay, I'm going to attempt to, it's an acronym.
I can help you.
SMART. And you can, please help me. if I say something really wrong. S is for sexy.
So wait, what?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah,
on.
that's
Is
right.
that wrong?
No.
If you can't Instagram the goal, it's not worth it.
That's right. If you didn't Instagram,
Okay,
it
but
didn't
wait.
happen either.
So why? What are these? What does this acronym help them on? So when
This helps them when they're creating their goals.
Okay.
So it's called SMART goals. It's an acronym. The first one is not sexy. The first one is actually specific. So it's really good to create a goal that's specific. So if you say, I want to lose weight, you could make it more specific by saying, I want to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what specific means. So then there's measurable. Again, that's kind of like specific. You want to be able to measure it. So 10 pounds. I want to make this much money for the kingdom, but make it measurable where you'll know when you hit it.
And also that can go with time limits so that you're checking in with that goal.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
That's
at
the
2
measure,
months,
yeah.
this is where I want it to be. So let's check in and see where we're at and maybe shift it, reevaluate the goal in general.
And then the A is attainable. So this is so huge. Like Arden said, it takes 5 seconds to write down on paper, I want to be a professional golfer. But you also want to make sure it's attainable. So Arden could have been like, I want to cut 3 strokes off my golf game. That's a lot more attainable, you could say. And for those of you who don't golf and don't know what I'm talking about, I'm really sorry. Okay, but attainable. You want to make sure it's something you can actually reach for and grab if you're trying hard to get it. The next one is it
relevant?
relevant? Is that right? Somebody help
relevant.
me out.
Relevant.
It is relevant?
Yes.
But
Okay,
the goal
cool.
is relevant.
Okay.
So relevant to
Is it
whatever
relevant to the
season.
times?
Yeah,
you
relevant.
know?
Yeah, relevant
Back
to
to
the
the
times.
Instagram thing.
Yeah,
Right.
Sorry,
exactly.
go on.
Right. So,
Well, is it
Can someone help
relevant
me out
to
with
is it relevant to the season that you're in? So
Okay.
you're not going to say, "Oh, I want to be a mother," and you're not even married or something like
Yeah.
that. It's got to be relevant
That's
to
a
the season
dangerous
that you
goal.
are. Yeah,
I don't recommend that one.
exactly.
Yeah, no.
Or you don't want to say, "I want to be married," and you're still in like maybe high school or something like that. Just things like that. It has to be relevant to the time that you're actually in.
Or you're not even dating or something
Yeah.
like that. Just,
Well,
and Arden,
I will say,
Yeah,
I
Austin,
did
you actually
all
still
last
should
year.
not try to become a mother if you're just dating somebody.
You're right. I can't become a mother, actually.
Austin
Point
shouldn't
of
in
clarification.
I
general.
can't be a mother. I'm sorry.
All right, moving right
Not
along. The
attainable.
last one is timely or time bound, and basically you set kind of what Julie was talking about. You set a specific time that you're going to have this accomplished by.
Yeah.
So it could be the full year. It could be by December 31st at the end of this year, or it can be in 2 months or 6 months or whatever is appropriate, but it needs to be timely.
Yeah, and if you're someone who says, oh, it's the beginning of the year, it's New Year's resolutions, I'm going to do it in April or May, I can set goals whenever I want. You need to recognize that there's a certain momentum that's available at the beginning of the year, and you need to take hold of that. You need to grasp that opportunity. You know, Proverbs says, know the season that you're in so that you can grasp the opportunities available to you. And I think that goes right in line with seeing that this is a new year, this is a new start, it's fresh. So, take hold of it and break it down to the nth degree where it's daily habits.
Yes.
And then, they say 21 days to make a habit. So say it out loud, find accountability, and make these things a part of your life for those 21 days.
Yeah, and Julie, that was really powerful. I mean, like you said, you're already on the momentum, but I would also even just add to that and say that do it like your life depended on it. And what do I mean by that? I mean, so there's the greatest king of all time, the man that has been labeled the greatest king of all time that Jesus actually quoted more than any other person in the Bible, King David. So King David, when was the one time that he really messed up? The one time that he really messed up was actually when he wasn't trying to conquer something. It wasn't when he was actually focused on something. It was a day that he could have been out at battle. He could have been going and warring with a country that the Israelites were at war with, but he decided to stay back. And when he stayed back and he got lazy and he didn't do anything, that's when he found Bathsheba. And that's when actually he put himself at risk. So I'd say do it. Set up a goal like your life depended on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't want to become stagnant. Like, that's the whole thing. As sons and daughters of God, we don't want to become stagnant. And everything that we're doing with the Rise movement, that is all about movement. And movement involves not being stagnant. And so really quick, just to wrap it up, I just want to ask you guys to go through this really fast. But what was a goal that you guys accomplished this year that you guys are very proud of? Alec, do you want to start?
Mine was the business school.
The business, yeah.
Yeah.
Julie?
Mine
Six
actually,
pack?
yeah,
6-pack?
I surpassed 6. I have a 12-pack. Mine actually wasn't my own goal. It was Addison's goal to write a book, which when he came up with that goal, we have 4 young children and just very full lives. I thought that's crazy. But the accomplishment of that really in our lives has been a beacon of God saying, if I tell you to do it, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. Austin?
I think I should go last because I don't want to steal yours.
Okay.
What would be one of the goals that you had?
My
It can be-
goal.
say it at the same time.
Oh, my goal. I think both of Austin and I's goals for this year.
Yeah, we both got married to other people.
Oh.
That sounded weird.
Yeah.
Arden got married to a lovely girl named Christian. I got
Yeah.
married to a lovely girl named Jess. And so that's something that we've wanted for a long time. And so it was cool to accomplish that goal. And Arden actually has just been joking for a long time about how he's going to get married. He'll say like, I'm going to get married this year. At the beginning of the year, Arden wasn't dating anybody. And we're like, Arden, you're crazy. And then he gets married. So that's just the way
It worked
sometimes
out.
goals go.
Well,
Yeah.
If
maybe
you
that's
say
why
it
I'm.
every year,
And,
eventually.
He told Christian that he wanted to get married that year, and
That's what
Christian
had to happen.
helped. Yeah, so write it down, tell someone.
Yeah, you got to tell somebody.
Yeah.
Put that in front of them constantly. So,
Awesome.
Anyway, yes.
Awesome. Okay, well, guys, we loved having you guys today. Thank you for joining us. We hope you guys found some new strategy on how to start this year off right, how to write out your goals. We encourage you to write it out, follow the SMART model, tell people about them. We love you guys joining in. Make sure you guys review our podcast, rate our podcast, and share it with your friends. And also check out our YouTube channel for sonsanddaughters.tv. We love you guys, and please join in next time.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Later.